Hey guys, Chris here. I want to do a video today talking about enmeshment, how to quickly excel on the enmeshment path, how to really untangle from enmeshment, disconnect from your parents, have that separation from your parents without boundaries being crossed, with you stepping into your own independence. And I've done a video in the past about finances, and this can come into it. And it's for this particular exercise is if your parents were to go right now and you was to lose them, or if you're a guy and you're enmeshed with your mum, particularly your mum, let's just look at your parents as both, obviously with the mother as well. But I want you to really think about what you would lose. Where are you not fully stepping into your independence? For one, you could live there, and maybe if you're living at home, your parents doing all of the cooking, or you've lived out of the house temporarily and you can't really do your own food, you're sort of eating out, you're eating junk food. Is that something that you're reliable on? For example, with myself, back in the day, it was things like clothes. It was, we'd go shopping every couple of times a year or whatever, and buy lots of clothes, maybe sort of get the opinions on what you think looks good. Can I wear this? Can I wear that? And then the more with that, and then also with the finances was a big one as well. In terms of, when I say finances, is if your parents now and again will come in and say, "Oh, I'm going to give you, a couple of grand, just feel like giving it to you," and you're expecting that all the time, or you get in trouble and then you get lent money. You're maybe always being asked about your finances. So this crosses the boundaries, and it doesn't reaffirm that you're okay being your independent self, which is a big part of this. You have to be able to survive. If your parents were to go to right now, you would have to make sure you have your own money. You'd have to make sure you have your own place, that you can survive, that you can pay for the bills, that you can do all of this stuff without needing them, that you can cook healthy food, you can look after yourself. And this instance with the clothes is, it wasn't until you sort of say, okay, I'm going to take back my independence now. I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy my own clothes. I'm going to not rely on my parents to buy me stuff, to take me out, to take me to the certain places that I want to go. Because it might seem you might switch off and you might not be interested. You might be not interested in money and eating well and looking after yourself and making money. And this is important part of independence. You have to be able to think that if my parents weren't here right now, how would I survive? And that is a quicker way of beating enmeshment, because a lot of people, when their parents pass away, sometimes they feel free and they go, oh my God, I feel free now. Maybe they even panic as well and think, well, I can't take care of myself, because you're still in that little boy version of you. So it's to write down all the different things that you, and then maybe even writing down what you feel free of. Like, oh my God, I would feel free that I can actually live a life that I want to live now. I can just go traveling without feeling guilty. I can date who I want and not feel under pressure to meet someone. Christmas won't be as more difficult. All of these sort of things, because you have to fully individuate. And it is okay sometimes we go through this phase, particularly with therapy, of blaming people, blaming the parents, but you have to take full responsibility. And you realize that, okay, I'm relying on my parents for here. Yeah, you might have been unfairly manipulated and get made to feel guilty into certain things, where they're like, well, don't buy your own clothes, we'll take you and we'll buy your clothes for you. Or yeah, don't with your money, yeah, we'll give you the money. We've got it handed. We got money. We don't. Money doesn't mean anything to us as long as you're happy. So you have all of these things in place. So it's like you've already created the unentanglement, and yeah, it's to look at that. Look at the whole year. Look at everything you have, whether it is, obviously you mentioned things like the clothes, the food, financially, where you live. Maybe it's advice, all of these sort of things. And that's where the enmeshment comes in, because you're following the advice, you're feeling guilty for not following their plan. You have to be your own person. It's almost like even disconnecting. Someone told me once as well, You know, just it could be good just to go on a year sabbatical and just say, look, I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing my whole thing for a whole year. You know, I know you support me. I love you. Obviously at the end of the year, you know, I'm gonna go out in the world and I'm gonna see how I get on. And there will be a lot of freedom, you know, and you'll make mistakes, you know, you'll make mistakes where you're like, oh, you know, I wish I was back at home, and this, because that's how it is, you know, the 16-year-old that maybe moves out is, you know, or goes to university is like, oh no, I wish I was there with my parents, you know. I'm living with this lunatic, or this thing's happening. But that's just real life, and you have to be able to realize that and see those problems in the world. So yeah, if you can do that and you can think, okay, where am I attached to my parents? What am I getting from them? If they were to go, if I was to lose them, what would I lose? Um, and yeah, that's it. But I focus on things like the home, which is always an important one, especially when you're going back home as well. People normally go home quite a lot, which can be a sign of enmeshment. And it's always like, well, you've always got a place to stay. But imagine if it's like, no, you're not coming back. You know, you're your own person. I don't want you staying. Yeah, you can stay one night, but you're not hanging out here. And I think sometimes this is the kind of thing that we would need. You know, so rather than just having a free place to stay, and if everything falls apart, you get the money, you can live back at home. And maybe part of you wants that as well. So this is what creeps us in this trap. So I want to share that video, and I hope everyone takes something from it. Keep sticking on the enmeshment path, untangling. It can take a while, it can be quite tricky, but it can give you great power. And you begin to maybe even see that other people are enmeshed around you, and also just the whole world is enmeshed with something. But there's nothing like your own independence and your own freedom. So I thought I'd share that, and I'll speak to you soon.